I'm joined now by Dr. Julian Nedzelski, whose impressive career is coming to a close, but certainly has left a legacy behind him. Thank you for joining us here today. How's that for an intro?
That was wonderful. Thank you.
I hear you're retiring in July.
Yes, I am. Yes,
Wow.
I've done this for 45 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Now you have spent decades leading the way and building the otolaryngology department at Sunnybrook. Can you tell me a bit about that and how it's changed over the years, the understanding of cochlear implants?
When we first started in the cochlear implant initiative, the only people who were candidates for implants were profoundly deaf people. And we were only looking at adults who had had language and gone deaf. Over time, that has changed dramatically. The technology is truly spectacular. The results that people achieve are really, really wonderful. It is the only artificial human sense organ currently that is helping people.
As you look back on your career, what are some of the highlights that stand out to you?
Well, in the early days, we used to bring the people into the hospital. We used to put an electrode onto the round window of the inner ear. Mm-hmm. We would hook them up with some pretty primitive electronics. They would walk up and down the hallways, listen to telephones ring, to give them some sense of what electrical hearing was like. The technology is truly evolutionary now. It's not quite as revolutionary as it was in the beginning. But what is clearly apparent is that the paradigms for how to stimulate the electrodes are changing. The theory as to what electrodes, how electrodes should be placed in the ear, where in the inner ear, it's really all incremental. Technology is truly amazing.
Is there a patient that sticks out to you as being particularly memorable?
Yes. When we first started, we, of course, had people come along who were interested. And one of our very first patients, who was implanted in 1984, was incredibly enthusiastic. In fact, he made T-shirts for all of us, the front of which said, "Cochlear implant or bust." And this guy was amazing. He was truly amazing.
Is there a specific discovery or area of research that is a hot topic here?
Well, I think what really stymies us is that when we put the electrode into the inner ear, in many instances we sacrifice what hearing there has been in the inner ear. So techniques and strategies that allow us to put the electrode in and save whatever hearing is still in the inner ear is a challenge. And there are drugs that we put onto the electrode when we're putting it into the inner ear. But over time, what we think may well happen is that the electrode itself will be used as a vehicle to deliver drugs and maybe even viruses carrying information that might prompt hair cell regeneration in the inner ear. Now that would be truly revolutionary. But there are all sorts of interesting possibilities that currently are just in the early stages of being investigated.
Wow, that sounds very, very exciting. What about Sunnybrook specifically? So what can the CI world learn from Sunnybrook?
Well, we are we're an adult program only. We do not do children. It's an adult hospital. We have the largest adult implant program in Canada by far, and one of the larger ones in North America. And so what we think we offer is that we have, by virtue of a large number of patients followed over a long period of time with substantial data collection, being able to offer people sensible observations as to what they may or may not expect with a cochlear implant. People come along with varying duration hearing losses, varying causes of hearing losses. So when one is counseling patients as to what they might expect, you have to be realistic as to what you might tell them. The last thing in the world you want is someone who's unhappy and angry.
Absolutely. Well, you've done impressive work, clearly.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to hear how your retirement goes.
I'm pretty good at making rocking horses.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. That's your new plan. Well, thank you, Dr.
You're very
Julian
welcome.
Nedzelski.